Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of my podcast, Explore and Engage with Anam. The question that I wish to ask today is, who will voters pick as the Republican nominee for the 2024 presidential election? Well, do you think it's too early to tell? I think it's too early to tell. The 2024 presidential election is still far away, and I know that in the primary process, there are lots of candidates who are still trying to make decisions as to whether to run or not, and it's just too early to tell who the eventual nominee from the Republican Party will be. But that is not stopping people from making predictions. That's not stopping people from making endorsements. Former President Donald Trump is the frontrunner right now. In spite of many legal challenges that he's facing, Donald Trump continues to show tremendous energy, and he's moving forward with his campaign. And this is the energy that people love, and this is the strength that makes people admire Donald Trump so much. And then there's Ron DeSantis. He's the governor of Florida, and he's definitely a very strong candidate. And the advantage that he has is that he is the governor of a massive Republican state, Florida. Florida is where people are going right now. Many residents from blue states are moving to Florida to enjoy sunshine and freedom. The fact that Ron DeSantis represents Florida, that's a great advantage for him in this 2024 presidential race. But the question is, does Ron DeSantis have the strength that Donald Trump has? That's the question. And different people will answer that question differently. People have different views of former President Donald Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. So depending on who you're asking, you're going to get different answers. Some may want a younger nominee for president, and so they may pick Ron DeSantis because he's younger in age. And others believe in someone who can deliver results. And President Trump definitely has shown that he can deliver results. He made lots of promises during the campaign, before the 2016 election, when he was running for the first time. He made lots of promises, and then when he was in the White House, he actually delivered on a lot of those promises. So people definitely respect that, and there are many freedom-loving Americans who would love to see Donald Trump back in the White House. But the discussion about the 2024 presidential election must include other candidates as well. There are many other candidates who are running to be the Republican nominee for the president, for the office of the president. And my friends, I have learned something from being in politics for many years, and that is, you can never take things for granted. Things change very fast in politics. You never know who is going to make it to the front of the line by the end of the primary process. Who is going to be the eventual nominee? There's really no way to predict. Is it going to be former President Donald Trump? Is it going to be Florida Governor Ron DeSantis? Is it going to be Senator Tim Scott? Is it going to be former Vice President Mike Pence? You can make a guess, but there's no way to know for sure. And Chris Christie, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, he's also running for president. And let me tell you, my friends, it's going to be very interesting to see Chris Christie on the debate stage. He is definitely very entertaining. And if you ask me for my personal views, I will tell you that I don't believe that former Governor Chris Christie can gain enough support to become the Republican nominee for the 2024 presidential election, but he can certainly try. But if you ask me to make a guess, I don't think he will be the Republican nominee for president. That's just my prediction, okay? But then, just a short while ago, I said that there's no way to predict who is going to be the Republican nominee. So, let's wait and see. And as I've said before, the more the merrier. The more candidates there are in the race for the White House, I think the better, because the voters can listen to various candidates, and they can listen to the various ideas, the various proposals, the various viewpoints, and then at the end of the day, the voters get to decide who they would like to see as the GOP nominee in this race for the White House. So, talking about former Governor Chris Christie, he's definitely entertaining, and it's fun to hear him on the debate stage. But I think it would require tremendous work for a candidate to become the GOP nominee. And the question is, can Chris Christie do that? Obviously, there are other candidates. What about Governor Doug Burgum, the governor of North Dakota? He's going to be a fresh face on the debate stage. And actually, let me tell you, I don't know who the candidates would be who are going to qualify to be on the debate stage. So we have to wait and see. But there are many other candidates. Former Ambassador Nikki Haley, she seems to be getting some good support, especially from female voters. I spoke to a friend recently, and she's a woman from Wisconsin, and she seemed to be very supportive of Nikki Haley. And I know there are other folks here in Wisconsin who see Nikki Haley very favorably and support her. So we have to wait and see what happens. There will be lots of new developments, I believe, as we move forward in this race for the White House. And there's something I want to tell you, and that is, I think that there are two ways of looking at this Republican primary process. Number one, pick your favorite candidate. As a voter, pick your favorite candidate. It's the person you would like to see in the White House. And then you can also think about whether or not that person can actually win the election. So you may have a favorite candidate, but then the next question is, do you think that your favorite candidate can actually win in the general election? And that's how voters are going to have to make a decision. At the end of the day, it may be an emotional decision. Your heart wants you to vote for someone, whether it's Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley or Tim Scott or someone else. Perhaps a voter will listen to whatever the heart says. Or maybe the voter will make a practical decision and try to determine who has the best chance of winning in the general election. And perhaps it's going to be different from who a voter would want to vote for. So just to simplify this, if you think that candidate A has the best chance of winning in the general election, but candidate B is who you want to vote for, then would you vote for your favorite candidate, which is candidate B? Or would you make a practical decision of choosing candidate A because you believe that candidate A can actually secure a victory in the general election? These are tough choices, and not every voter thinks in the same way. Our decision-making process varies from person to person, and so there's no way to predict what's going to happen. My friends, this brings me to the end of this episode. I would like to know who you think should be the Republican nominee for the office of the president. Share with me your thoughts and comments. And you can go to my website, tawsifanam.net. You can send me a message and let me know your views. Let me know who you would like to see become the Republican nominee. You can also connect with me on social media and share with me your thoughts there. Thank you for staying connected, and I hope to be back again with a new episode very soon. Thank you for listening to my podcast.